Okay, so naturally when I say the words people mover, your first response is, wow! Okay, no, it's not. But it might be once you've seen this. What an absolute behemoth. This is the all-new, all-electric luxury people mover, just a strange combination of words to have in a sentence, called the LDV Mifa 9. Okay, let's just crack straight into the price and the range. This is the stuff you want to know. There are 3 trim levels available in this car. It starts with the entry-level version, which after the Clean Car rebate will set you back just $71,000. However, all 3 versions do 440 Ks per charge, and they're all laden with technology and gadgetry, so there's so much to unpack here. Let's just dive straight into it. It's more than 5 meters long with a chonky snout and 180 kilowatts driving its front wheels, which is a lot for a people mover, but it does weigh 2.5 tons, largely due to its 90 kilowatt hour battery. Now don't worry, I'll show you the performance shortly, with the Mifa 9 being able to haul 7 people in quite impressive comfort with loads of room in each row and plenty of gadgets. Now this one, the mid-range spec named Luxury, has electronic sliding doors on both sides, an electronic tailgate, heaps of room inside for passengers, including massaging middle row seats, which are ventilated and heated, with USB charging in every row, even down the back, and cup holders in every row too, as well as 2 electronic sunroofs, privacy glass, front and rear climate control, and I'll show you all these rear seat gadgets shortly and even pick up a carload of critics. But for now, let's head up front where there's wireless phone charging, a big 12.3-inch touchscreen display with a 360-degree camera system, and loads of storage with a record-breaking PSC of 91, staggering. And talking of space, there's enough room in the boot for 1 metric unit of me, plus there's a 12-volt outlet there too, and under the long bonnet there's also more storage in the front compartment, or fartment, for charging cables or perhaps more tuberous vegetables. Honestly, this vehicle has it all, and it's bigger than Texas, although unlike Texas, this one has a functioning electrical grid because it's got onboard mains power. But with all that gadgetry, size and sheer weight, how does this big pointy rectangle actually drive on New Zealand's roads? Alright, let's hit the road, and it's as easy as dropping the stalk down. That's very Tesla-like, isn't it? And automatic handbrake goes down. Now, I'm doing things a bit differently this time. I'm not going to start by driving around the city. I'm going to get lost trying to figure out how to get back on the road. But when I do get on the road, I'm going to go on a road trip. Start with the road trip, and then tomorrow I'll be taking this into the city to see how it actually operates in the city, hauling people. Watch this space. We're going to take a closer look at the luxuries in the back then as well. Right now, I'm going to hit the road. Now, I'm no vanologist, but I do know that 7-seater electric cars have been asked for years, and there's just such a shortage of them on the market. Now, there are 3 trim levels, as I mentioned. There is the Elite, which is the entry-level one, which has 18-inch wheels at a heat pump, and then there is the Luxury model, which has electric seats in the back, and 220-volt power and things like that. And then there is the top of the range one, the premium model, which has massaging in the seats, a great sound system, which I'm going to test later, a leather everything. Because I'm in Taupo right now, I'm going to take this electric beast all the way on one charge to Auckland City. It'll be interesting to see how well this thing handles the highway. Supposedly this can do 440 kilometers of real-world range according to the WLTP cycle, as I call it, the woefully less than predicted cycle. What's it going to be like in the real world on New Zealand highways with our hills and wind, although it's not windy today? We're going to find out. We'll see if we get anywhere close to that 440 Ks per charge. Now what I've got to do is make sure I pay attention to the road. Obviously I'm driving a 2.5 ton vehicle, but also because there are cameras in that little box in the corner there watching my eye direction, watching what I'm doing. So if I look away too much, 1, it's dangerous. 2, a little message comes up on the dashboard telling me to pay attention. I should probably be really honest at this point though, before the road trip gets underway, and say that I really don't like people movers. They're awful. Giant lumbering potatoes on wheels, and I like potatoes. However, this thing has intrigued me. It doesn't feel like a people mover. Maybe that's because I have this massive expansive dashboard and bonnet in front of me. I'm seated quite far back as if it's just a giant car. It's really kind of cool. Is a people mover cool? I don't know. But so far I'm intrigued. I'm definitely intrigued. I wonder what the efficiency is going to be like though, because This is a monster. It is 2.5 tons. 2.5 tons is very heavy, and that's largely because it has a 90 kilowatt hour battery. The thing is, I've driven some 2.5 ton vehicles, and none of them have been quite so, well, rectangular. It does sort of have the aerodynamics of a television, one of the old ones. So I'm really curious to see what the efficiency is going to be like once we get on the highway and get up to speed. See, now I took a caravan towed with an electric car, a Polestar 2, a few months ago to see how practical it is and easy it is to tow a caravan with an electric car. It turned out to be an absolute piece of cake. That Polestar just ate up the miles. However, one thing I did notice is that the efficiency dropped drastically once I got over 80 kilometers an hour. The difference between 80 kilometers an hour, 85, and 90 kilometers an hour in that thing was staggering. It used so much more power doing 90 than it did at 80. So it'll be interesting to see what this is like once we get up to 100 k's an hour on the open road, to see if it just destroys the range or if it does actually, it's practical and useful as a family car going long distance. We're going to find out. What I can tell you already though is the view is really good. You're up high because it's a people mover, right? So naturally you're going to be having a high commanding presence of the road, looking over my tarmac empire. But the pillars, despite the fact the pillars are quite thick, they don't feel like they obscure too much because there is so much glass. There's just such a massive expanse of visibility. It's great. And the rear vision mirror as well, which is auto dimming by the way. It's well up out of the view. It's not like, for example, the Peugeot E208 that I reviewed where the mirror was sort of right there in your line of vision. You had to kind of look around it to see if there were any cars at intersections. Not this thing, it is a glass house on wheels. I can see everything. One thing I'd like to do though is sort out navigation. This doesn't have Android Auto, it only has Apple CarPlay, but it does have QD Link. Now I installed this app on my phone, so we'll see if this connects. Oh, you need a USB cable. Okay, well, let me pull over and sort that out. Gosh, I love this display. Look at that. Oh, here we go. Oh, this looks really similar to Android Auto. Okay, let's give it a go. Okay, so QD Link works a lot like Android Auto, but it's basically just a mirror of your screen. Yeah, I don't know if I like it or not. Could be handy. Anyway, let's crack into it. You can see the consumption right now is quite high, but that's because I've spent most of the journey so far crawling around Taupo. Let's see how things improve as we get onto the highway, and hopefully there's not too much traffic. I am loving this right now. Seriously, the ride quality is quite good. There's a lot of mass. You can feel the fact there's a lot of mass there, but it's not bad even with just one person rattling around inside it. The road presence is great. Look at the cathedral of glass here. It's awesome. A great road, a beautiful sunny day. Very, very nice. What a nice place to be. Although let me drive it for a few more hours just yet, because I'm sure there are some things I'm just gonna hate about it. Watch this space. Well, so far so good. I'm taking the inroads because the highways are full of roadworks and trucks. Our power consumption right now, we're averaging 22 kilowatt hours per 100k. So it's using 22 units of electricity every 100k. That's high, but that's to be expected for its shape and weight. It's not too dissimilar from what I had in the BMW iX M60. That was also a massive 112 kilowatt hour battery on a more than 2.5 ton vehicle. One thing I'd like to do though, when we get this thing closer to Auckland City, we can get on the motorways, is test the adaptive cruise control and the lane keeping assist to see if it holds the vehicle securely in the lane or if it wallows around all over the place. I really don't know what to expect because on one hand, LDV makes really affordable vehicles. On the other hand, this is sort of aiming at the luxury market, or at least that's my feeling. We won't know until we get closer to Auckland. In the meantime, this is handling strangely well. I mean, I'm not going to throw it into any corners because this is not a cornering beast, but one thing that's not doing such a great job, however, is the speed sign detection. So it's got cameras all over the car and it reads the speed signs as you drive past them. And it displays the speed on the dashboard, but it's got it wrong a couple of times. What does it mean for the lane keeping assist? But we still have many, many kilometers to go yet, so kick back, relax, and enjoy the background for Windows XP. And as I made my way across New Zealand XP, I tried to get away with a sneaky yawn, but the LDV saw it. Severe fatigue. Please have a full rest instantly. It was just a yawn, I promise. Okay, so the camera's in the corner of the pillar They are monitoring me and they are telling me off. Okay, I'm gonna stop and have a cup of coffee. I'm gonna take the car's advice. Well, we're now on the Waikato Expressway, which has a 110 km/h speed limit. Okay, we're doing 109. I'm gonna set the adaptive cruise, which is turned on by tapping the stalk on the steering wheel. All right, so now the car is keeping speed with whatever vehicle is in front to a maximum of 110. Okay, what about lane keeping assist though? To turn that on, I tap the stalk twice. Okay, thing is, this is still, for what it is and all the luxury in it, it's still a fairly affordable luxury vehicle. Does that mean they've cheaped out on the lane keeping? No, it's behaving itself. That's all right. Not bad at all, well done LDV. Don't know how you've done that for such a low price point, but well done. Well, the lane keeping assist has been doing a great job and the adaptive cruise is keeping me at a safe, consistent distance from the truck in front. But what I want to know is, what's the cabin noise like on coarse chip roads at 100? Well, this is not a coarse chip road, but I know where one is. It's coming right up. And I'm also going to test, it's kind of pointless, but the 0 to 100 time. I'm going to put it into sport mode now, because I still haven't actually put my foot down on this entire journey. I'm going to find an empty slice of road. This looks like I've got it to myself. Okay. I'm assuming it doesn't have launch control. And this is front wheel drive as well, so this will be interesting. Okay, you ready? Here we go. It's not bad. There we go. Not the most exhilarating 0 to 100 time ever, but considering it's 2.5 tons and a front wheel drive, that's not too bad.
It certainly wasn't, and the cabin noise at 100 was good too, clocking in at around 74 decibels, which makes it one of the quietest vehicles I've ever driven. The Mifa 9 was leaving me impressed, but as I'd be driving this behemoth right past my secret twisty driving road, I found myself with a dilemma.
I feel like it would be sacrilegious to put a people mover through that, but I mean, I am here. Why not? Okay, we're in sport mode, we've got everything turned on. Let's give it a go. Okay, I really don't know what to expect. The steering doesn't really feel that much different. It's a little firmer, but it feels pretty much the same. The braking, however, has become much more sensitive on sports braking mode. What I want to know though is how this thing handles in the corners, and here are some corners, but you're not buying this thing for its cornering prowess. Holy cow, that's pretty good. Yeah, but having said that, you're not going to buy this thing to be eating up the roads on a weekend. So this is an entirely pointless test, and I don't blame you if you just want to fast forward a few minutes ahead. This is madness, man. It's not wallowing though. I keep expecting it to wallow. I'm sitting too high for a vehicle to feel this sure-footed and stable. I won't lie, I am kind of nervous putting something this big around the corners. It just eats it up. This is madness. Honestly, I am staggered at how well this thing handles for its size. It shouldn't handle this well. It's crazy for a people mover. Electric, man. That's that low center of gravity. Lets you get away with a multitude of sins. I mean, obviously this is not a machine designed for this sort of thing, so I'm not going as flat out around these corners as I would in a Porsche Taycan, for example. Check this out. No way, like, that shouldn't go around that corner that well. Whee! Who would have thought? This is madness. Oh, I love this. This is crazy. I don't feel like I'm driving a big heavy thing when I chuck it into the corners. This is great. In 2023, we've got electric trucks, we've got electric people movers, we've got luxury electric people movers at that. Well, that was absolutely pointless, but a lot of fun. Okay, now it's time to charge this thing up because it says we have 102 k's of range left because I've been driving it really hard. Now it's time to find out how fast it charges, and to do that, I'm taking it to a hyper rapid charger. Now these things can deliver 300 kilowatts each, and there's 2 of them. They can charge 3 cars at once. They're the whole shebang. It's what you want. The thing is, I don't know how fast this vehicle charges because when I was researching for it, I covered the screen at times to make sure it's going to be a real surprise when I get to the charger. As for charging the car, it's going to be a guilt-free experience because all the electricity for charging its rapid chargers comes from Ecotricity. and it's New Zealand's only carbon zero certified electricity provider. I use them. If you want to use them, join up at ecotricity.co.nz. Personally, I use Ecotricity's EcoSaver plan. The EcoSaver plan is great because not only is it all carbon zero certified clean power, but it's really affordable. Like seriously, my power bill is about $140 a month, and every weekend, all weekend, is off-peak time. It means you could drive an electric car non-stop all weekend and it'd cost you next to nothing. Seriously, there's no downside. So head to ecotricity.co.nz, sign up, join me. And here are the 2 hyper rapid chargers from ChargeNet. Time to get this beast charged up. Now the problem is this thing is monstrous, so I'm going to try and back in because the charging port is on the rear. Okay, and that'll do, that'll do, that'll do. All right, let's get this charged up. These hyper rapid chargers, they have capacity for charging 3 vehicles at once, 2 CCS and 1 CHAdeMO. CHAdeMO's for Nissan Leafs typically, but CCS, this is what most cars use now. So to use it, you simply swipe your key fob or use your ChargeNet app. I'm going to select CCS because that's what my car takes. All right, so now let's open up the charging port. And plug it in. Okay, so it's charging now. Now we used 3/4 of a charge with all that spirited driving and that highway driving, which is not too bad considering that was 4 hours. Speed-wise, what are we drawing? Okay, 100 kilowatts, that's respectable. How high will it go? It's continuing to climb. Okay, it's hit 120, then it dropped a little, so I'm guessing maybe 120 is it. So how long will it take to get from, what was it, 25% to 80%? Okay, there we go, just hit 80%. That's not too bad. 25% to 80% in 28 minutes. That's pretty good. So you're looking from 20% to 80% in about 30 minutes or so. Not a bad time at all. So the vehicle's charged. Now I want to talk about specs, family information, and of course, how good is that sound system? Let's find out.
Firstly, let's start with the vehicle's dimensions to make sure it'll actually fit in your driveway. It is 2 meters wide, it's 1.8 meters high, and get this, it's 5.3 meters long. That makes it officially a chonker, but despite its plump proportions, getting in's fairly easy as the lip of the front seat is only 79 centimeters off the ground on its lowest setting, whereas the side entry step is 43 centimeters off the ground. Now if you've got kids, good news, because there are 3 ISOFIX points inside. Although if you're hauling big loads, be warned, the rear seats don't completely fold away. And while we're talking hauling, the Mifa 9 has a towing rating of 1 ton braked, but the tow bar is still in development and there's no word on price yet. As for peace of mind, the vehicle has a 5-year warranty on the body and moving bits, but an 8-year or 200,000 kilometer warranty on the battery, being one of the longest battery warranties on any electric vehicle. Something interesting to me though is that LDV have gone and installed, instead of hard plastic, this plush sound deadening material in the wheel arches and underneath the vehicle. As for availability, you can order a Mifa 9 now, though the first shipment won't arrive to New Zealand until around March 2023. And if that sounds just okay, then have a listen to the 8-speaker sound system in this mid-level luxury model. It's clear, but it's sadly lacking in any real depth, much like me. Overall though, this giant people mover has proven itself to be an intriguing highway-friendly cruiser, but what's it like in the city?
And it's doing a fine job. It's just as comfortable here as it was on the open road. The only difference is, as you can see, squeezing this 2 meter wide beast past people and cars and obstacles can be a bit of a challenge. However, it's no slouch, as you saw doing the 0 to 100 time. It gets up and moves okay, and I can improve on that by changing the driving mode. By simply pressing a menu button and then going into the system settings, I'm given 3 driving modes. You've got standard, you've got eco to maximize the range, and of course you've got sport, and I'm going to put it in sport because that's the fun one, and I'm going to need it as I approach Auckland's infamous Royal Oak roundabout. I may need all the power I can get. What's funny is that ever since I was a kid, this roundabout has never not been chaotic. While the rest of Auckland's getting really busy and full with traffic, Royal Oak Roundabout has been consistently crazy. Okay, ready? Is it my turn to go? Ready? And gun it. Whee! Oh good, now I'm going to end up blocking the intersection and this giant 5-meter long beast. Sorry. Well, we made it through Royal Oak Roundabout. Now I want to change the regen braking to see how efficient that is, how much energy it puts back into the battery, and how much it slows the vehicle down. Does it have the capability to drive with just one pedal? Okay, to change the regen braking, again, I have to go through the menu, but it's a different menu. This is one complaint I have, is that there are 3 main menus you've got to go through in order to change the settings you want. So this time we go to Energy, and now we've got 3 options: high, low, or standard regenerative braking. I'm going to go to high. The thing is, will it let the vehicle come to a complete stop just using one pedal? Let's find out. Okay, here we go. Foot off. Oh wow! I didn't think it was going to kick in at first. I did have to put my foot down at the end there, but the regen braking generally is strong enough for you to do most city driving with just one pedal. That's good. Alright, finally I'm going to take this thing to a car park so I can show you one more gadget it has that I like. And then finally, I'm going to give you a tour of the interior. Believe me, it's worth waiting for. Oh, it's narrow. Oh, don't scrape the wheels. Good Lord, this thing is an office block on wheels. All right, what I want to show you now that we're in the car park is the reversing camera, which is really great. The definition on the screen plus the camera means that you can park using just the camera, not your eyes, which is really good, because this thing is enormous. All right, let's give it a go. Chuck it into reverse. Okay, let's just use the camera alone. Oh, see, look at the bird's eye view. That's some good software, how they've joined it all together like that, and that is not some good driving. Let me tidy that up. That is brilliant. But even though these spaces aren't small, but good Lord, this is just such a chonker of a car. I know, I see it. That'll do. Okay, so check out this display, and it shows basically everything you can control on the vehicle, from the headlamps to the fog lights. You can open the boot, and of course you can open the front sunroof, and of course then you can go and do the back as well. Click rear sunroof, fully open. Brilliant. You can also drop down the rear windows as well. Left hand side fully open, right hand side fully open. Check that out. The whole thing's opened up now. Let's close it all. Fully closed, fully closed. And of course, let's go back to the sunroof. Front sunroof, fully closed. Rear sunroof, fully closed. Let's close the sunshade as well. Does it all by itself. It's fantastic. So you can keep your rear guests perfectly comfortable, perfectly happy. They don't have to lift a finger, but they can if they want, because right up above there is a air conditioning control system. Okay, let's carry on looking at the other gadgetry. We have scenario mode, so you can have preset scenarios such as cool, warm, fresh, or standard. So let's just say it's warm, and it'll adjust the air conditioning, so you don't have to go through and click buttons, although it is nice and touch screen down here. Or I can press fresh on the front row. It starts opening things for me just by these presets. That's pretty cool. Let's synchronize the left hand and the right hand side temperatures so we're all the same. Front row, this is all basic air conditioning stuff. Rear row, yeah, I can control the passengers' air conditioning, what sort of heating and cooling they've got. But this is also interesting. Check this out. Air purifier. And it shows you the quality of the air inside the vehicle. It's got a particulate matter filter as well to make sure everyone's clean and healthy. Next, I've got phone options. I've got an album where I can play videos or audio straight off my USB stick. And then of course we get into the settings, and we've got a few menus to choose from. We've got Apple CarPlay, QD Link, which is not actually that great. I hope that in the future they will have Android Auto for this vehicle. Radio, albums again, system settings. And this is where you can adjust the blind spot assist, the parking assist, the overspeed warning, and turn off this camera that monitors if I'm yawning or not. Although you can fake yawn and trick it into telling you you're tired, pull over. Then we've got lighting, and we can adjust the ambient lighting. You can also change the color, which is cool because looking at the strip light here, you can't really see it very well in the daylight, but at nighttime it looks pretty cool. And you can adjust how long you want the lights to be on. So you've got 30 seconds, you've got automatic headlight leveling, automatic high beam, all that usual stuff. Window locks, that's self-explanatory. Safety and convenience, you can turn on your wireless charging here. Driving preference, this is where you can adjust your driver mode. You saw that earlier. You can adjust your brake pedal mode from standard to sport, the steering feel, hill descent control, you can turn on and off. Then we've got connect, which is obviously just Bluetoothy stuff. Then if we go back into the menus and we go into energy, this is where I can adjust the regen braking you saw earlier. Then of course you can preheat your battery. You've got options here and a schedule. You can tell the car when to stop charging at 80% or 100%. You've got how much amperage you want to put into the battery when you're charging it. All basically intelligent stuff that you get in top-end cars. Now as for the seating, you saw it has wireless charging earlier. This thing, if I drop the seat all the way down, look how much space there is. I'm 5'10" and there is another foot above me. This is staggering. Like, you could actually be 8 foot tall and fit in this car. Maybe 8. I would say at least 7 feet tall you could actually fit in here. And I could put the seat all the way back. Look how much room there is here. Of course I am cutting into the rear room a little bit, but this is huge. And the steering wheel not only goes up and down, but in and out as well. Seriously, this is crazy. There's so much room in here. But wait till you see what's in the back. And welcome to Chateau LDV. This is the back. It is luxurious. Look, I've got footrests down here for my clodhoppers. First of all, I better turn on the air conditioning because it is starting to roast. All right, so obviously I've got control here of all of the sunroof and things like that. Let's open that up a bit. Get some light in. Back here I have armrests, which are adjustable. These seats, however, not only are they huge and spacious, LDV says that these seats are as good as sitting in first class on an Airbus A380. And honestly, telling you right now, I can say I have no idea because I'm gutter trash. I've never been in first class, but they are very comfortable and they come with gadgets. Not only are they completely adjustable, I can move them backs and forwards and up and down and that sort of stuff, but check this out. Oh yeah, look at that. Recline them all the way back, put my calf rests up. Oh, this is the life. This is the life. And it goes a step further as well. There's lumbar support, which I can adjust. I can feel it pushing into my back. Or there's a button in the middle of the circular control here, and I press that in and... oh, good Lord, I'm being pummeled. Oh, I could get used to this. Massaging seats that are fully reclinable, but they... all right, steady on, mate. But they're also heated and air-cooled. That is lovely. It's just whisking away any flatulence before any of your co-drivers even know. And there's more gadgets as well. Let me put this thing back up because I have, in the seat next to me, we have USB charging, enough for 2 phones. And of course, on this side, check this out, cup holders. And it gets even better. This is the piece of resistance. This device here, look at that, mains power with a New Zealand plug as well, or Chinese plug, same. But you can plug devices up to 150 watts, and that's not a lot, but you could run a big screen, but certainly not a toaster. Oh wow, that's really cooling things down. And of course, the room in the back as well. Let me close this up. There's enough room to walk through, as long as you're not too big. And in the back, we have USB charging, stereo, phone holder, cup holder, heaps of room, same on the other side, and there's a relatively decent amount of legroom at the back here as well. Check that out. The thing is though, as much as I like all the gadgets and features in this car, I'm not using it for its intended purpose. It's a people mover, and so far it's just been me driving all over the country by myself, and that's not very challenging. So, to remedy that, I'm going to go and pick up members of my family, use them as guinea pigs, and get their honest feedback on what they think of this all-electric luxury Mifa 9.
Well, plenty of room.
Yep.
Oh, it slides back.
All right.
We're slightly elevated.
Yeah, yes.
You've got headrests, you've got armrests.
Help yourself to air conditioning controls up there. It might be a little warm. You've got vents down there.
Oh God, you can stand up and drive along.
You could be like Rommel.
Oh my word.
Perhaps you could take one of those seats into your place, Andrea.
Oh, sorry, Mum. I'm so far back, I can't.
You'll have to shout. There's no intercom.
Yes. This is a long way back.
Excuse me, passengers.
I just can't believe the leg room.
It's a 3.2 meter wheelbase. Oops, excuse me.
Oh, what was that? Did you shoot the
I
tyres?
did chip them a little bit.
Yeah, it's got quite a bit of torque.
Oh!
All right, we have another passenger.
Yes.
Make yourself comfortable.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Oh my God.
Welcome aboard LDV Airlines. Our destination is Mr. Zhao's Dumplings tonight. We'll be reaching a cruising altitude of 2 feet.
Lovely.
So this, for those that don't know, this is the LDV Mifa 9.
Luxury, look at that.
So yes, there's a little party trick. Both of you have, in the middle row, you have calf rests that lift your calves up. If you want, the controls are on the side. And if you feel around, put your hand down towards the door, feel the circular button, push the middle of it. There's the massaging function.
Oh
What's that?
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
I've had a hard day's work.
You have privacy glass on the back windows as well, so people find it hard to look in. Of course, you've got air conditioning up there if you want it. You've got your lights, your massage functions, and if you need it, we have 230 volts power here, so you can run your appliances. You also have phone charging in the middle, and behind the bag on Patrick's side, there's a little pull-out tab. If you push that tab, it'll pop out 2 drink holders.
Oh, there we go. Goodness me.
This is quite nippy, you know.
It's not too bad. It is 2.5 tons.
Yep.
But if I put my foot down,
Oh my god, you've just done a webby.
it will move.
Yeah. Tons of room.
Yeah, there should be heaps of leg room for even down. How are things down in steerage?
Yes, it's plenty of room for me, thank you. Seats comfy.
Oh, it's almost like a little bit of business class back here.
Well, LDV reckon that the seats. You'll be able to answer this, Patrick. Having been a stewardess, supposedly.
First class flight
Attendant, sorry. First class flight attendant. The seats supposedly, LDV reckons that they are the same feeling as first class in an Airbus A380.
I haven't been in first class of an A380, but look, certainly from just the feel of it, how it doesn't feel like a car seat. It really does feel more like an airline seat back here. Wouldn't quite go quite as far as first class just because we can't lie flat.
Oh, right, okay.
Why not?
Why not? Work on that,
No,
LDV.
you can. Look, I'll give it a go.
Oh dear.
No, I'm pretty flat here. Oh my god.
And how much leg room do you have back then, man?
He'd be lap dancing at
Yeah.
the moment.
Oh, good lord.
Yeah, no. It works fine for him, but the other person would definitely have him right in their lap.
The sun in your eyes from the sunshade?
Oh,
'Cause I can close that if you like.
Well, we can close that.
No, you'll be asleep before we get to Mr. Zhao.
Oh.
I can control your windows from the front there, just so if you want to wait for the crowds.
This does feel palatial.
It is kind of posh.
Feels luxury.
Yeah, soft suspension
Yes.
without it wallowing.
Yeah, it does not wallow.
If only we had the ability to perform the cocktail test to see how well the cocktail stays steady in the glass.
We don't turn the cameras off, then we can do that. Alright, well we will be preparing our descent to Mr. Zhao's dumpling house very briefly, so please place your tables in the upright position.
Make sure your seatbelts are still
Yes,
fastened.
yes, keep your seatbelts
The light
fastened.
goes off.
And don't stand up as soon as we've come to a
No,
halt.
and please do not clap when we arrive.
Joey's left the spot for us. Beautiful.
Oh, look at that.
Nice.
Oh. Yeah, the camera view is
That's
bang on.
very,
That's
very
really helpful.
yeah.
There we go, spot on.
wow.
Alright, thank you everyone.
Brilliant.
Let's go have some food.
And before long, it was time to hit the road back to Taupo to drop off this giant people mover and to list some complaints I had after driving it for a few days. Another road trip done, and we are back where we started here in Taupo, and I have to say that this thing has been really nice to drive. And that sounds strange to say because in my mind, people movers, well, they're kind of noisy and they're slow and they're lethargic and they wobble around. Well, this is none of those things. This has been an absolute treat. However, I do have 3 complaints, and number 1 is that the user interface on the screen is kind of clunky. For example, if I want to turn off some of the alarm settings,
then that's in one menu. If I want to adjust the regen braking, that's in a different menu. If I want to change the driving modes, that's a completely different menu. And it'd be nice if it was all just seamlessly combined into one unit, and that could easily be fixed with a software update, and hopefully LDV will do that in the future, including things like Android Auto. That could also just be a software update. My next complaint is that there is no spare tire, just a pump and a can of goo. So my advice to you, if you're planning on buying one of these things, is to go on Trade Me and buy a used Space Saver tire that'll fit this vehicle, and a used jack, and there you go. That's some peace of mind to chuck in the back when you're going on a road trip, because this is a real road trip friendly car. Honestly, I've done almost 700 kilometers in the last few days, and it's just gobbled them up effortlessly. It's crazy. And my third complaint is that the accelerator in this vehicle is really sensitive. And it means that just a couple of millimeters of movement on your foot can result in a lot of lateral movement. And you don't want A-list celebrities you're hauling around in this luxury beast to be complaining. That could also be maybe just a software tweak. So yes, LDV has a little work to do with their user interface and maybe some software updates, but otherwise this vehicle has been an absolute dream to drive. Who would have thought a people mover could be this responsive, this much fun, and this relaxing to drive? It's insane. I really, really like the LDV Mifa 9. I like a people mover. Don't tell anyone, please.